21st Century Literature from the Philippines and the World. Good morning. This is Justin Andrew and Villalobos from Grade 12 STEM SALCEO. Development of Philippine Literary Forms. Spanish Colonial Period, year 1565 to 1863. Characteristics. It has two distinct classifications. These are religious and secular. It introduced Spanish as the medium of communication. Nature contributed much in the shaping and recording of Philippine literature. Spaniards introduced liberal ideas and an internationalism that influenced our own Filipino intellectuals and writers for them to understand the meanings of liberty and freedom. Third is forms. Religious literature. Religious lyrics written by Ladino poets or those versed in both Spanish and Tagalog. Passion, long narrative poem about the passion and death of Christ. Cenaculo, dramatization of the Passion. It shows the passion and death of Christ. Second is the secular, or the non-religious literature. Awit, colorful tales of cavalry made for singing and chanting. Example is Ibong Adarna. Second, corrido, metrical tale written in octosyllabic quatrains. Example is Florante at Laura by Francisco Baltazar. Prose narratives, written to prescribe proper decorum. Examples are Diálogo, Manuel de Urbanidad, Ejemplo, and Tratado. Fourth, stages of development of Philippine literature. First, works of the Spanish religious about the Philippines, year 1593 to 1800s. Formative stage, year 1800s to 1900s. Nationalist stage, year 1883 to 1903. Works of Spanish religious about the Philippines. Spanish conquerors established a strict class system that imposed Roman Catholicism. Augustinian and Franciscan missionaries, accompanied by Spanish soldiers, spread Christianity. Their mission is to force relocation of indigenous peoples, natives, turned to the foreign structured religion as the new center of their lives. Priests, priests and friars preached in local languages and employed indigenous peoples as translators, creating a bilingual class known as Ladinos. In Dios, natives were not taught Spanish. Gaspar Aquino de Belen, poet-translator, produced devotional poetry written in the Roman script in the Tagalog language. Passion, a narrative of the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus Christ, has circulated in many versions. Here are the examples of passion. Kasaysayan ng pasyong mahal ni Jesucristong Panginoon natin na sukat ipag-alab ng puso ng sinumang babasa at ang panalangin. Corrido, Mexican ballads of cavalry provided a model for secular literature. Example of corrido are the Ibong Adarna and May Isang Ibong Maganda. Commedia, verse narratives were performed in the regional languages for the illiterate majority. Also written in the Roman alphabet, in the Roman also written in the Roman alphabet in the principal languages and widely circulated. Thomas Pinpin, Chinese-Filipino printer, set out to write a book in Romanized phonetic scriptwriting. It is to teach his fellow Tagalog speakers the principles of learning Spanish, the first such work ever written and printed by a Philippine native. native Filipino intellectuals who developed and preserved Philippine literature short stories. They are Isidro Marfori, Enrique Fernandez Lumba, Cecilio Apostol, Fernando Ma Guerrero, Jesus Balmori, and etc. Documented or by word of mouth, hand-down literature pieces. Castrillo, Fernandez, Rivera, Lixi, and Estrada. Formative stage, year 1800s to 1873. Filipino writers began to recognize the Philippines as a separate entity from Spain and codified this in different form of expressions. Luis Rodriguez Varela, one of the first Filipino to produce works, and a mestizo born in Tondo. Fernandez de Felgueras, he is a Governor-General to the Philippines, was granted by the Office of the Censor to publish three books. These three books are Elogio a las Provincias de los Reinos de la España Europea, Elogio a la Mujer, El Parnaso Filipino. El Parnaso Filipino is a collection of poems written by various Filipino poets. It is still considered one of the most important works in the entire corpus of the Philippine literature in Spanish. It bears the merit of being the first book about the Philippines in Castilian that is purely literary and not didactic or religious. Other notable writers: Jose Vergara, one of the Philippine representatives to the Spanish Cortes; Juan Atayde, a military official; Father Pedro Pelaez founded the El Católico Filipino. It is a journal of religious nature, first used the term Perla de Oriente to refer to the Philippines. Father Jose Apolonio Burgos, he is a student of Pelaez at UST. El Eco Filipino, Mare Magnum Estado de Filipinas a la Legada de los Españoles, Ciencias y Costumbres de los Filipinos, Cuentos y Leyendas Filipinas, year 1860, Er Verdad los Milagros, Los Reyes Filipinos. Nationalist stage, year 1873 to 1903. Reasons that brought social and economic changes in the Philippines. These are the opening of Philippine ports to foreign commerce, transition to an export economy, the establishment of regular maritime routes between the Philippines and Spain. Ilustrados, educated young men sent by affluent families abroad. They became the spokesmen of the grievances and the aspirations. Círculo Hispano-Filipino, year 1882, renamed to Association Hispano-Filipina, Association of Illustrators in Madrid, Spain. Jose Rizal, he wrote the Noli Me Tangere and El Filibusterismo. Isabelo de los Reyes, fondly called Don Belong by contemporaries, introduced Tagalog for the Ilocanos. La Invasion de Laymaho, year 1882, this made him enter the world of journalism, which gave him all the outlets he needed to express his nationalism. Credits to Sir Yani R. Pagaduan for allowing me to use his PPT. Thank you for listening.